I am Professor Roadblock, and I am so glad that you guys are joining me for another Monday night stream. Really excited for tonight's stream. Got a couple of important things going on. Okay. First and foremost, I'm a little bit late because one of my goals for the month of December was to have my streams have the goal of donating money to a charity or a good cause. And so I was so busy getting some things set up in the background, games wise, that I forgot to get that stuff set up. And so I just got that quickly thrown together. I do not have a progress tracker or donation meter or anything integrated with Streamlabs yet. I will have that, try to have that ready for Wednesday. But throughout the month of December, I will be, every time I stream, trying to raise money for a charity that I have chosen. And I'll be doing that through Tiltify. And so the charity that I have chosen is Mental Health America. And so I'm going to post their link in chat right now, and then I'm going to periodically post that link or allow others to post that link throughout the evening and as I stream. But I thought that would be a really great cause. I knew that I wanted to have my cause be something related to mental health. You know, mental health is something that we can all relate to in some form or another, and taking care of yourself is incredibly important. And so, Mental Health America is a fantastic charity organization based, of course, out of the United States. And so I just wrote this little blurb about my campaign. It said, millions of Americans suffer from mental health issues, many undiagnosed. Additionally, the holiday season can be tough, with many who feel alone or isolated, or who may have to interact with intolerant or judgmental family members. Join me in raising money for Mental Health America to support our fellow humans in receiving proper mental health support. So again, I'm going to try to get an integration on Streamlabs here for the next stream. But if you guys want to support this wonderful cause, please follow that Tiltify link. My initial goal is $100 raised throughout the month of December. If we can get anywhere close to that goal, I will be absolutely ecstatic. If you click on the link to the donation page and look to the bottom, it will also give more information about Mental Health America, so you can decide if it's something that you want to support and donate. So there's that. The other interesting thing about tonight, you guys can probably see a poll, or you should be able to see a poll in Twitch chat. I have two games that we could choose from tonight, and the reason that I'm changing it up is for a couple of reasons. One, in a lot of ways, I feel like Final Fantasy XIV's kind of run its course. We will be going back to it from time to time for different things. But my channel was never intended to be a full-time FF14 channel. I wanted to use it as a way to conduct a culture study, which we've more or less done. And my students have more or less completed in class and are moving on. So now I want to transition towards using it for game studies. And additionally, in the days leading up to the Game Awards, which are later this week, Twitch is running a thing called What Games Week. And so basically they're saying, hey, look, all these wonderful high-profile games have been chosen for the Game Awards. Let's throw some attention or love to some games that are either no longer popular or games people have never heard of or anything like that. And so I've chosen two games, and I spent some time this evening prepping both so that I think they will function on stream. And chat, I want you to decide which of these two games we go with. So if you look at the chat on, or the poll on screen right now, it should say that we have the choice between a PS2 cult classic or a retro-inspired indie game, and that vote is going on for another 3 or so minutes here. And so, if I get one or two votes one way or the other, we will go ahead and pick that game. I will not tell you what game it is actually going to be until the results are in. But both of these games are absolutely phenomenal. I'll give you a couple clues on both. For the PS2 inspired cult classic, this is the game that I personally adored when I was a kid. It is a PS2 launch title, and I currently own it on the PS4, PS5, because they added it as one of the PS2 games on there. And so I do have PS Remote Play set up, so if it will function, I'm worried about this happening while I'm streaming. But if it would function, then I will stream the game from my PlayStation here through Streamlabs on my computer, and we'll see if it works. The other game is a retro-inspired indie. So this is a fantastic game that came out in 2018. It does a lot of pulling from retro games of the past. It is not the same game that I used as an example in class. So if you are watching this and you are one of my students, it is not that particular game, but it is another game very similar to it. It's a game that I played upon release and had an absolute blast. For both of these, they offer a different game studies experience. The PS2 game does not fit with the current theme of sensation that we're studying in class right now, not very well. It certainly has a wonderful soundtrack, but sensation games are all about the visual identity or the sound design or the rumble and haptics of the controllers or other interesting ways that gather or engage people through their five senses. Obviously, all games do that to some extent, but some really rely on it as part of their design. PS2 game, not so much, but the PS2 game does a fantastic job with a couple other aesthetics or themes like challenge. And so, if we choose the PS2 game, we will be talking about games as challenge and how challenge can present itself in this specific title. If we go with the retro inspired indie, then we will be talking about sensation, which is the current aesthetic that we are studying, because that game, through a couple of different means, does a great job of fulfilling the aesthetic of sensation. So I'm going to let that keep going here until it runs its course. We do have at least one vote trickling in. So currently, the retro-inspired indie game is in the lead. But you guys can definitely get your voices heard and make a difference there and get that changed. While we are waiting here, let me flip over to my intermission screen. Maybe that's a little bit better for what we're doing. And again, I will use this as another opportunity to plug the charity that we are raising money for here in the month of December. So again, I'm doing a holiday drive for Mental Health America. If you want to support that charity, you can go ahead and follow this link that I'm posting in chat right now. Again, I will, hopefully by the next time I stream, have a widget or a tracker in the chat so that we can actually see how far we are towards hitting that $100 goal. But until then, we'll just kind of do it through these donations here tonight. So we'll get started here in just a second once that poll ends. Again, I think both games are loaded and ready to go. They seem to be fine. While we wait too, there's a ton of fun stuff to talk about throughout the course of tonight's stream. We had a new season of Fortnite drop yesterday. We have a new battle pass for Marvel Snap that literally just dropped at 9 p.m. Tomorrow, the new season of Rainbow Six Siege drops. So we have all of those going on. We have the Game Awards coming up later this week. We have the holiday season upon us with all sorts of its games that have been brought in. So lots and lots of fun things to talk about here. Again, if you're just joining, we are getting the stream kicked up now. There is a poll going on right now, and I need your help, chat. I have 2 possible games selected. Hey, CJ, how's it going? If you haven't voted, I need your vote. We have 2 possible games going for tonight's stream, and so you guys get to vote on what that will be. Again, if you look at the chat, I have not revealed the titles of those games, but we are either going to be playing a PS2 classic or a retro-inspired indie game. It looks like we do have another vote coming in for the retro-inspired indie. So unless we get another couple people coming in and sweeping the vote at the last second, then that is what we will play. So as soon as that ends, I will update the chat and we will get things going. I'm really excited to play either one of these games. So again, doing something a little bit different than Final Fantasy XIV. This game will be one that's, either one of these are single-player games, it'll be easy for me to look over and interact with the chat. And both of these games are an absolute treat if you have not played them before. So it looks like the poll is winding down, so I'm going to go ahead and flip over and update my stream information. And then when things are done here, we should be ready to go. All I need to do is update what game we are playing. And I do want to verify that that game is going to win. Yeah. So we'll give it another couple seconds just to keep things rolling. But it does look like our retro-inspired indie is going to take the cake on this one. So I once again have my PlayStation controller installed. I don't think it stole my sound this time. It should be all fine and good to go. But let me know if things are not working properly. And again, lots of fun stuff to talk about. I was just playing some of the new Fortnite season yesterday and today with my wife, so plenty of fun things to talk about there. If anybody's playing it, it's absolutely fantastic. And it looks like by 100% of the votes, the retro-inspired indie has won. And so the game that we'll be playing tonight, and it should update down at the bottom if you haven't seen it, is The Messenger. So let me go ahead and get that game booted up, and I will show it off here on stream. How's everybody doing tonight while I get this ready? Uh-oh. What was the other choice? I will reveal the other choice here in just a second. Let me get the game. Actually, let me put it on that screen anyway. You guys can see it here, but I need to copy it for just a second. And you also should be able to hear an incredibly awesome... Hold on a second. I have the audio coming through the wrong place. Uh-oh. Give me a second. Technical difficulties. I need to get the audio going through the right source. Give me a second. All right, there we go. That should be better. And I'm going to grab the game. And we're going to copy it. Uh-oh, I can't see it anymore. Oh, I know why. And then we're going to go to this screen, and we're going to paste it as a reference. That way, that way, should we need to use this screen, we can. Okay. So the other game that was on the table, if this one didn't get chosen, was a PS2 game called Dark Cloud, and it's a launch game for the PS2. It was an RPG by a company called Level 5. I absolutely loved that game as a kid, despite all of its flaws, and so I own that game on my PS4. So, but you guys have chosen The Messenger. So The Messenger is all about sensation through nostalgia. The Messenger came out in 2018, but when we start it, you'll notice that it looks like an old school 8-bit or 16-bit Nintendo game. It looks on the surface a lot like an old game called Ninja Gaiden, but it is an absolutely fantastic game. Really snappy movement, incredible soundtrack, which is one of the reasons why it's a sensation game. The other reason why this is a sensation game is that it appeals to nostalgia in a big way, much in the way that Shovel Knight does. But without any further ado, let's just get into it, and I can kind of talk about it as we go. The other nice thing is it does have a couple opening cutscenes, but they're much snappier than Final Fantasy XIV. And I did go ahead and do a test one here, but we're gonna delete that one. I wanted to delete that one. My bad. Hold on. Oh shoot. Having all sorts of trouble tonight. Let's try that again. Good, buddy. How about you? I've been doing well. Again, just enjoying life the last couple of days. Had a good weekend. Got to play new Fortnite. We're gonna do a regular new game. If you look at the top, I've beaten this game 100%, but we're going to do just a brand new game. And we'll see if you guys like this and want me to continue this. We'll keep this as a stream game. It can just serve as a one-off as well and just use it to highlight things tonight or this week. Another day and still no sign of the so-called Western hero. Training used to be fun, but all we do now is memorize boring prophecies. Demon Army this and Magic Scroll that. Nothing's happened in centuries, so why are we still hiding? I wish I could just leave this place and go explore the world. Gather around, everyone. History lesson is about to begin. Oh, great. Another lecture. Guess I should at least show up this time. So there will be a little bit of tutorial here as it teaches us some of the very basic mechanics, and then we're pretty much going to get straight into it after about 5 minutes here. Right on time to try the new course. Show us your cloud step technique. Jump, hit, jump. So this is really cool. This is a core mechanic of the messenger. Normally you can just jump once, but if I attack in midair and I hit something, I regain my jump. So I can double jump or jump a million times over if I keep hitting things in between. They take that core mechanic and iterate on it throughout the entire course of the game for some really cool effects. Well, look who decided to grace us with their presence. Have you done your reading? Ever the rebel. What's the point? All we do is rot in this hideout anyway. I see that the importance of our ancestors' wisdom is lost on you. But let me assure you that the threat of the demon army is very real. And should they... Ah, some giant foreshadowing there. They have returned! This is all wrong. The Western hero was supposed to save us. Watch out! Don't go. You are not ready. Doesn't matter. We're gonna go fight the Demon King. Burn it all. Bring the humans to their knees. Not so fast, big boy. Oh, and who might you be? Are you really all they've got? Pathetic. Prepare to die. That sound. Impossible. Seems luck is with you this day. Barmathazel. Yes, my king. Keep an eye on this worm. Certainly, my king. Count your blessings, ninja. My minions will make short work of you in the autumn hills. Are you the Western hero? Something like that. To be honest, I got here way too late. As you look like the most capable around here, I have a task of the utmost importance for you. Take this scroll and carry it across the island. You need to reach Glacial Peak Summit, where 3 sages will be waiting for you. But who are you? And why is this scroll important? You'll find answers along the way. Head for the village gate now. The Shroud of Night will be your only protection to make it through the autumn hills. Godspeed, messenger. You got the scroll. You have been chosen to be the messenger, tasked with carrying the scroll across your cursed world. And that's the game. That's the whole setup for the story. The game will have a couple of cutscenes here and there, a couple interesting characters, but we're pretty much into it. So why does this game fit the aesthetic of Sensation? It is trying to tap into that 8-bit nostalgia with games like Ninja Gaiden, first of all. This pixelated style is a key part of it. The other thing you'll notice, the music in this game is absolutely fantastic. This one is a banger. It starts off a little bit slow, and then it's going to pick up. But Autumn Hills is one of the best songs in the game, actually. And the whole soundtrack is incredible. Whoop, we already took a hit. We're gonna jam out to the music on the elevator. Alright. Here's something else cool about the game. You enter the portal, we're in the shop. Best character in the game, the shopkeeper. Ah, the messenger. I wasn't expecting you so soon. What is this place? This is the shop. Doesn't look like a shop. Do I look like a shopkeeper? Anyway, so I'm this mystic character who will be mentoring and supporting you on your epic quest to save the world. All you need to do is take the scroll to the top of a faraway mountain where 3 sages from my order will be waiting for you. Your order? Slow down, that was way too much text for one dialogue box. Look, just keep going eastwards and make sure you grab all these time shards you see lying around. I can use them to upgrade your abilities and artifacts. First one's on the house, enjoy. You got the climbing claws. Press against walls while airborne to stick to them. Need anything? So this is cool. The game's very self-aware, breaks the fourth wall sometime. The shopkeeper's the best character in the whole game. He upgrades your stuff, so there's this whole tree we can use. So the shards I've been collecting, we use to upgrade our abilities. We can start by getting HP upgrades. We can start by getting defense upgrades. We can also be more aggressive. We can get a shuriken right off the bat. We need one more to do that. We can get globes that restore key charges, which will allow us to throw more shurikens. This lets you destroy enemy projectiles and cloud step off of them, and that's absolutely going to be the first thing that we grab. And then this gives us a recovery jump. So we're going to grab this first. So now we can hit enemy projectiles and then bounce off of them. You can also chat with him. Whoops. So he'll tell you about the most recent item that you got. Who's John Gaiden? Never mind. So you can ask him questions that will, some of them advance the plot, some of them guide you on where to go, some of them are just fun. So we'll ask him, what is this place? Seriously though, where are we? Curious, are we? In time, you will come to realize that the question is not where, but when. That's it? Listen, I know you're still new to this, but you have to be pretty naive to expect anything other than cryptic information so early on. Wouldn't you rather go back to the action anyway? Just buy a health grade up or something and be on your way. Kids these days. Any stories to share? Of course, here's one for you. There once was a servant who didn't know how to read. The day came where his master asked him to read something for her, to which he replied, "I'm sorry, my lady, I can't read." That reply immediately got him fired. So he went out in the streets looking for a tea house to relax and accept the bad news. When he couldn't find any, he reckoned he probably wasn't the only one to wish there was a tea house in his small town, and so he opened up his own. It really picked up, so he built many more and became rich in the process. One day, his accountant asked him to review a piece of document, to which he replied he didn't know how to read. The accountant, who couldn't believe his ears, said, "If you become a millionaire without even knowing how to read, just imagine where you could be if you could read." "Oh, I know exactly where I would be," the rich man replied. "I would be a servant." The end. What? I don't see how this applies to my adventure. It doesn't. You asked for a story. More like the long version of When Life Gives You Lemons. Alright, since you don't seem to appreciate me sharing some clever material for your next party, I suggest you move along. Yeah, it's awesome. Let me save real quick. I think this is a save point. Not? You can also, yeah, he tells you to please don't touch the cabinet. I don't remember what happens if I keep doing this. If you touch that again, you'll have to sit through my boring story. If I remember right, the boring story is also really, really long, so we're not gonna do that. Have I played Ark Survival? I have not played Ark Survival before. I've watched a couple streams of it, and it seems really interesting, but I have not played it myself. Do you play it? It also seems really hardcore, and like it'd take a lot of getting into. It also seems like people could come and wreck your stuff, but I don't know, maybe you can play on servers where they can't do that. Or maybe that's part of the fun. I don't know. Yeah, definitely glad we picked up the projectile destroying thing first. Those little fireball guys are annoying, and now we can use them to jump. Alright, we're gonna wait this out just a little bit. Oh, so there's your, there's a retro sort of thing there. I got hit by the enemy and it knocked me back. Now, in other games, like if that was an actual NES game, it would have knocked me into the spikes, and the spikes would have either done extra damage or insta-killed me. But this is a modern game. I have iframes, so instead of me getting wrecked, I was able to get back off the spikes without taking another hit. One of the other things that's really important for the aesthetic of Sensation is that if it's tapping into nostalgia, then it feels like the old games you remember, but it's not the games as they actually were. Also, hold on a minute. Really great example of what I'm talking about. Okay, for games that do sensation as an aesthetic, part of it's tied to sound or audio design. Okay, listen to the way the music changes when I go in the water. Right? It almost sounds like the water's up above and I can't hear it quite clearly because I'm under the water. Such a cool effect. And then here, listen to it when I hop out. That's so cool. Not enough games do stuff like that. Yeah, dude, this game is gorgeous. Again, this game, and so the game I used in class to show this off is Shovel Knight. Both of them cheat in very similar ways. And what I mean by that is this game looks like an old school Nintendo game, but if you actually broke down the amount of action and the number of colors that are happening at the same time, there's the NES was capable of running 8 colors at once. If you count the number of colors on screen right now, which I'm not going to do, it is more than 8. But it maintains that look, right? I would remember an old Nintendo game looking this way, but if I actually pull it up, I'll be like, oh, it actually doesn't look as good as I remember, right? Same thing with the music. It's trying to emulate what an 8-bit game sounds like, but it's using far more sound channels than an NES would have been capable of. And again, you're not going to hear an NES game do this. Gorgeous. Let's see. Very, very hardcore, but you can change every aspect of the game before you start it, like dino health, speed, how long days or nights are, plus you can build a base and tame the dinos. Yep. And like if I ever got into that game, that's exactly why I'd get into it, being able to tame the dinosaurs. Oof. Okay, we made the jump. The other thing that's very old school about this game's design is that all the enemies follow very distinct learnable patterns. Like those fireball guys will always shoot 2 and then take a break. So you can learn that. Like these guys are always going to shoot those balls in that arc on this timing. You'll notice it when we get to the bosses too. All right. Let's see if we can get another upgrade. All right, chat. So should we go with Shuriken or health upgrade? Either one of them is going to be good. We'll eventually get them. Actually, we don't have to choose. Look at this. Never mind. CJ, have you played the any new Fortnite since it dropped yesterday? What? Wait, I have shurikens. Hey. I haven't actually, dude, you have to. Let the game update and then go turn it on. It is freaking gorgeous. They updated the game to running on Unreal Engine 5. I think it was on Unreal Engine 4 before. And like it still looks like Fortnite, but like the lighting is incredible. The water looks way better than it used to. There's a bunch more like leaves and foliage that weren't in the game before, and the map is completely new. And the weapons, dude. The weapons. I've been in and out of Fortnite, so some of the weapons I'm sure aren't new. But there's pretty much, take a drink of water. Let it jam out, though. Give me a second. Sorry about that. But the weapon meta is completely different. What I didn't like about Zero Build in the last season was that you pretty much had to have a goo gun, I felt like. At least when I was doing duos with Laura. Like, it seemed like goo gun was the way to go. And if you didn't have a goo gun, then you were kind of handicapping yourself. Just because it was so pivotal for the end part of the circle. Like, when you get down to the end, you needed it. And then, I really liked, yeah, exactly. I hated that goo gun. But I really loved, like, the bolt-action sniper rifle. Unfortunately, that's gone. In fact, snipers are pretty much out of the game right now. They have a DMR, and it's not the Cobra DMR that we had before, like the Halo one. It's the actual DMR they used to have. And then... they have, like, Bows are back in the game. I don't think bows are new. Bows are back in the game, and they are awesome. The only assault rifle that I've seen, there's the red eye assault rifle, which has a red dot scope on it and has like a weird firing pattern. And then they have like what they just call assault rifle, like generic assault rifle, and that one's pretty good. They have a machine pistol in the game right now that's actually really good. They have a new gun called the Excalibur. Yeah, that's the thing I don't like about the traditional DMR. It does a decent amount of damage, but it's really the travel time on the bullets makes it hard to do anything with. All right, so I'm gonna go down here. This little icon indicates we're gonna go into a challenge room where we can get a coin. These are usually brutally difficult, and they're completely optional, but you get some cool stuff if you collect them all. This first one I don't think is too bad. Yeah, first one's real easy. And there are, I think, 45 of these coins. So it seems you're one to wander off the beaten path. What was that big green object? Oh, you mean that thing you just smashed instead of collecting? It's a power seal. There are many others like this one, but to be honest, I'm not really sure what they do. I can tell you that finding them is optional, but if you're the kind of adventurer that likes to go for the extra challenge, you'll want to keep an eye out for hidden rooms. And who knows, it may or may not unlock an overpowered upgrade. Anyway, I'll be in my shop. So one of the things you guys can probably see right now, there's a breakable floor here, but I don't have the means to break it yet. So this game also does a really good job of like, hey, remember this and come back to it later. Oop. There's also a brand new weapon to the game called the Shockwave Hammer, and that thing is awesome. And honestly, I like it more for the ability to move around the map than I do as an actual weapon. It feels so good zipping around the map with the hammer. They also added dirt bikes, and the dirt bikes are awesome. You can actually drive the dirt bike while shooting it. So even if you're playing solos, you can drive the vehicle and shoot, which is kind of nice. You can also trick with the dirt bike. And of course, the island has ramps all over the place, so you can ramp off the dirt bike. Oh yeah, Fortnite. Sorry, yeah, I transitioned to talking about Fortnite again. Yeah. Do yourself a favor when you carve out some time, go play it. It's really good. Let's see if we can upgrade in the shop again. We can get the recovery jump. I think we're gonna wait for one of these other upgrades. I don't think we need the recovery jump yet. Actually, you know what? No, we will, just because I'm gonna say that and then wish I had it. He has something new we can chat about. Level boss. Looks like you're almost at the end of this area. Did I forget to mention there's a giant leaf monster guarding the exit? You did. Ha, the look on your face. Don't worry, my dear adventurer. Leaf monsters only come out during a full moon. Oh, is it a full moon right now? Yes. Oh, that's... I didn't... Well, good luck. Hey, cats, how's it going? You'll notice we're not playing Final Fantasy right now. I am playing a game for one of my classes that I teach, using this fantastic game, The Messenger, as a way to teach some of the concept from class. And one of the things that I'm doing right now is that I am, for the entire month of December, I am running a charity campaign for Mental Health America. And so if anybody who's watching and wants to donate to that, I will eventually have a tracker and things more organized on stream, but periodically throughout the night, I will be dropping this link in the channel. It's not letting me do it. And I do not expect anybody to necessarily go do it. But if you are so inclined and want to help support my cause, there it is. Certainly don't have to. I'm not trying to say, hey, go do that right now. Just it's been about 20 minutes since I plugged it, so I wanted to remind it again. Yeah, we do play some old, and actually, interestingly enough, Cats, this isn't an old game. So this game, the exact reason I chose this one is it looks like an old game. It looks like an old school 8-bit Nintendo game. This game actually came out in 2018. So let's use this first boss as a way to talk about some of the mechanics too. So what I was saying before is the enemies and the bosses in old school games are very cycle and pattern based. So we're just gonna watch this guy for a minute, because I don't remember how he fights, and see what his pattern is. Now, how do I get above him without getting hit? Oh, like that, we run underneath him. So this guy's got a very, very simple pattern. He just takes a couple steps, leaps at us. Take a couple steps, and then if he gets real close, he'll probably swipe at us. He's gonna leap again. So I need to get some distance from him. Oh, I can hit him. Oh, okay. All right, that's an easy pattern. Hit him. Oh, I see. Hitting him doesn't do anything. So then we go like this. Now he's gonna go up top. And we're now just, okay, underneath. Hit, 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 underneath. Right, he's gonna do it again. Jump. Jump again. Again, very simple. Unless he does anything crazy as his health gets low, we should be just fine. I'm not getting optimal cycles on him because I want him to throw the leaves really far away so I can hit him for longer. Here we go. Leaf monster down. Mental health's important for everyone. Please reach out if you're hurting. You aren't alone. Exactly, CJ. One of the things that I said at the top of the stream is I feel like this is a topic that anybody can relate to. Now I realize now that I have an international guest in here that I'm raising money for an American charity, whereas mental health is absolutely a global thing. But especially around the holiday times, you know, people can really start to feel it. Oh, shoot. Oh, that's right. This is the level you're supposed to go to next. But the holidays can be rough. You know, we're all living busy, stressful lives. So take care of yourself. That's why it's in my chat. You know, one of my rules on my channel says take care of yourselves and take care of each other. It's so super important. Oh, you scared me. I thought you were an undead. What kind of creature are you? You've never seen a phobekin? No, I have not. You can call 988 now for mental health crisis. Absolutely, you can. We are a tribe of builders, technically very hardworking, but every one of us is cursed by a unique fear, which we are named after. What's your name? Necro? Necro. So you fear the dead and somehow ended up in the catacombs. Ironic, isn't it? I fell while trying to repair the temple ruins above and was instantly paralyzed by all this morbidity. Anyway, thanks for snapping me out of it. I should really get back to work. Those guys are great too. You can collect them throughout the course of the game. I don't remember what you get for finding all the phobekins. Oh, that was close. And one of the things I want to mention too is, you know, obviously, like, I think in a lot of ways that some stigmas around mental health are going away, which is really good. But in many other ways, they unfortunately still exist. It is absolutely not a sign of weakness to go talk to somebody or get help if you are struggling with something. You know, there's a lot of big bad things in the world and just a lot of stress in whatever it is, you know, relationships, family, job, whatever. You don't have to deal with that crap alone. And many of us are blessed to have family and friends who we can reach out to who can support us, but not everybody has that. And even so, even if you have a good network of family and friends, sometimes hearing from a professional, from a third party, is good. All right, what's going on with this? So the thing that they just did is a classic video game trope too of we're gonna kind of hint at or reveal the boss to you earlier on, and they're gonna keep messing with you as you go through the level. So they do the thing of trickling out. Again, if you weren't here for this last time, check this out. The sound design in this game is incredible. Listen to the music. I will never get over that, no matter how many times I hear it happen. So one of the things that this game does, again, that makes it an excellent game for a game of sensation, is obviously it's wearing its nostalgia on its sleeve. It looks like Ninja Gaiden. In those old school games, the spike traps would absolutely be instant death. A lot of times we forget that. We don't remember that part. We go, oh yeah, that'd be a fun game to play. We hit our first spike trap and go, oh yeah, this game's bullcrap. I forgot about this thing. Not the case here, right? It does do some damage. It does reset your progress a little bit. But it is not going to insta-kill you. This is also one of those games that you can play it with a joystick, but it feels better to play it on a D-pad. Which, speaking of that, do you guys happen to know when the D-pad was first invented? Like what game console used the D-pad first? Talked about this in class as well. D-pad, simple as it sounds, is an incredible piece of technology. So what game console first used the D-pad? Oh. Go down or do we go up? Go down or do we go up? Let's go down. Bad idea. First question, the question I asked was, do you guys know what game console first used or invented the D-pad? Do not dare cheat and look it up. And if you're not sure what I mean by D-pad, this technically isn't a D-pad because the name is copyrighted, but this is a D-pad, right? Nintendo, okay, I mean, you're on the right track. It is a Nintendo console, but do you know which Nintendo console it was, CJ? All right, here's the thing. If this game was an old game, this pit would be instant death. This game does a really good job of not doing that. But I can't remember if there's insta-death pits. Do we try it? Do we try it? I think the answer is we try it, because if I die, then I can show you something else really cool this game does. It was a death pit. Now, I think the game was trying to clue me in that it was a death pit because of the purple at the bottom. I think the purple was trying to show that, hey, like, this is the end of the level. But, okay, so here's something this game does really well, and this is also a great example in Sensation, okay? Old school games. Oh, shoot. It advanced without me pushing a button. Old school games were notorious for their difficulty. They were designed that way. We've talked about it on stream before, right? If we go back to like Ninja Gaiden or Mega Man or any of those old school Nintendo games, Castlevania, they were brutally hard. They were supposed to be, because you had to have the game last a long time and it didn't have enough content. So they would pad it out by making it brutally difficult, so you would play it for months because it took you that long to master it and beat it. One of the things that made them brutal was the life system, right? 3 lives, game over, you're out. They might offer continues, but a lot of games either didn't do continues or they had limited continues, right? I can use 3 continues the entire game, and if I don't beat it, then I have to start over again. This game does not have a life meter, or a life system. I have unlimited lives. So here is how they balance it. This is with this little guy. What happened? I almost died just there. Strictly speaking, you did die. Huh? But how? My name's Quarble. Quarble? At your service. I'm the one you would never have met had you any skills. So, and I think there's an achievement for this. If you go through the entire game without dying, you actually never meet this character because he only shows up when you die. The gist of it is, I have a magic ring that allows me to control space and time. So whenever you are about to die, I will appear and stop everything and teleport you back to the latest checkpoint. Okay, what's the catch? Well, for one, you will still feel agonizing pain every single time. Also, I'm keeping track of your debt in my little notepad. So I'll stick around to steal your loot until we're even, or I'm bored. I mean, I can let you die if you prefer. Seems we have a deal. Glad to see eye to eyes. Carry on then. So the currency in the top right corner, I can't remember exactly what it's called. Time stones, I think. That's what we use to buy upgrades from the shop. So the way that they get around the death thing is I don't have lives, but instead when I die, I also don't drop my money when I die like a Dark Souls. But what'll happen is he's not gonna float around, and for the next couple of things I kill or time stones I get, the money that I get, he's gonna take it instead. So I won't be able to get money for a little bit. Once he's taken enough money, he'll disappear. So that's their mechanic, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. Shovel Knight is a similar thing, where you drop your bags of money like in Dark Souls, but this one I like even better. So, and again, in an old school game, they just be like, well, now you're down to 2 lives, and that part when you get there is gonna be just as hard as it was the first time, and hopefully you don't get a game over, because it'd be a shame if you had to restart, huh? And the other thing too is like, this means that if I want to, I can explore, and I'm encouraged to jump in the pit and try it. Because if I jump in it, oh, he just disappeared because he got bored. So he is on a timer as well. So if I had a life system, I never would have jumped into that pit because that life would have been far too valuable to waste. But here, I can try it out. And the checkpoints are usually pretty close by. Let's see, you gotta catch up here. Nintendo, the first one, the gray one. Yes, it was the first one, the gray one. So the original Nintendo invented the D-pad, and we'll talk about why that thing is so awesome in a second. Highlighted message. That looks like a devil Plankton. Yeah, Quarble does look like a little demon version of Plankton. Absolutely. Plankton from SpongeBob. Speaking of that, there's a SpongeBob crossover in Fall Guys right now, if anybody plays that. I was playing that with my friends on Saturday, and I don't think they have a Plankton, but they have a SpongeBob, they have a Patrick, and they have a Squidward, I think. All right. So why is the D-pad so revolutionary, okay? Before the D-pad existed, the primary way of controlling home game consoles like the Atari was through the joystick. Like they would have like a singular joystick or sometimes a knob that you would rotate. So if anybody's ever played one of those old school game consoles, there is nothing like this. There might be a box with a single button on it or a couple, like 2 buttons on it. And then if you had any sort of movement that you needed to do, it was through a joystick. Or it was through a dial that you would turn left or right, like clockwise, counterclockwise. And so there was no real good intuitive way to have people move in games. And as games got more complex, as you're getting to things like Super Mario Brothers, we needed to have ways of moving through 2D space that felt good. And so the D-pad solves a couple of really good problems. One of the problems it solves is how do I move effectively in 2D, right? It is very intuitive that if I hit left, I'm going to move left. If I push up, I'm going to go up. Okay? It's I don't even have to think about it after I've messed with it for a couple of minutes. So that's the first big thing. The other big thing is when games first started becoming a thing was people weren't used to how they played, right? And you don't want a game where somebody's playing and they constantly have to, like, while they're trying to do stuff, look down at the controller and be like, where's the button at? Where's my thumb need to go? And so the D-pad allows you to very easily rest your thumb on it, and I know exactly where my thumb's at all times without looking down at my hand. That's why the D-pad is textured the way it is. All of them are that way, right? If I rest my hand right in the middle of the D-pad, then I easily know which one's up, down, left, or right. I don't have to think about it. And the Nintendo D-pad is even better. And And fun fact, you actually legally can't, like I said, you can't legally call this a D-pad because Nintendo has the name D-pad trademark, but everybody calls them D-pads anyway. The other incredible thing was, again, before we had the NES controller and the D-pad, people didn't really have a standard way of playing games, and a lot of inputs on games, like I said, it was the Atari or the arcade. So you're using a joystick that you're holding like this, and then you're using your index finger to push a button or two, right? The D-pad and the NES controller revolutionized things, because all of a sudden the way I hold it is it puts my thumbs in charge. And thumbs are incredibly good at playing video games and manipulating the buttons. And using my thumb, and using whether I'm using a stick or the D-pad, is actually far more precise than trying to use a joystick in a lot of cases, right? So it really puts our thumb at the forefront of how we control and input in video games. And if you think about it, ever since then, every single major video game console, almost bar none, it's all built around how your thumb is using the buttons on the controller, right? Now, modern controllers have the triggers, so I may be using my fingers on the triggers, but it's all around using my thumbs to control pretty much 90% of what I'm doing, if not 100%. So that's kind of one of the reasons the D-pad is so awesome. And again, we've seen that design carry through from 1981 or 2, whatever year that was, all the way to 2022, which is insane. So there's actually a really good write-up about the D-pad and why it's such a big deal in one of the books that we have assigned for class. So you've got one of those Nintendos? Yeah, I don't have. I used to. So my first gaming console I had as a kid was the Super Nintendo. But the first gaming console I ever played was a regular NES because my uncle used to live with us and he had a Nintendo. And so I played Mario Brothers 3, Mario Brothers 2, games like that. He's gonna teleport again. And then I went to a garage sale when I was like probably 9 years old with my mom and my brother, and somebody was selling a regular NES with 2 controllers, I think the light gun, and 30 games for $100. And so I practically begged my mother for the NES, and we ended up getting it. And it still worked. It was in pretty rough shape. A lot of their games required cleaning and heavily blowing on the cartridges to get them to work. And the console was always temperamental, where sometimes I'd have to start a game and restart it like 4 or 5 times to get the cartridge to work. But I played the crap out of that thing. That's how I got introduced to the original Zelda and Zelda 2, and they even have the gold cartridge, which I thought was cool. That's how I got introduced to Ninja Gaiden. It was how I got introduced to all sorts of old school Nintendo games. I don't have it anymore. I couldn't even tell you what happened to it. I think it got put into a storage unit that my parents had, and unfortunately, I think it ended up getting stolen eventually. So I don't have it. And I also don't have the NES Classic. I have a SNES Classic, but not an NES. Yeah, my mom is pretty awesome. I just saw her yesterday. She came over and visited us and played with the kids. It's great. Their new house is beautiful. Their new house is beautiful. When my parents told me they were moving, part of me was like, what? Why? But then I was like, you know what? You know, my brother and I don't live there anymore. Our old house wasn't huge by any means. It was you know, decent sized ranch house, but they didn't need that sort of space. And now they have a beautiful place on the edge of town, kind of out in the wooded timber area. I love it. I think I need to. I can actually walk up the wall. Okay, we're good. We're good. There's also something incredible this game does with its graphics, and I don't want to say anything or spoil it. Because I'm hoping that some of you guys will be like, man, this game looks cool, and you'll pick it up. It's on Steam for like not that much money. I don't even know how much it's on sale for right now. And I think they did have a deal, sorry, a DLC that came out for it that I never bought. And they are working on a sequel, I think. But this game has a twist that happens later on, and something changes with the graphics, and it's absolutely insane. Am I excited to be an uncle? I'm pumped to be an uncle. I'm so happy for those two. It's been really exciting to see my brother stepping into that role, you know? Like, I always thought eventually that they would do that and that he'd settle down a little bit, but now it's actually happening. It's kind of weird. All right, let's see. We're going to grab this so we can get key charges, which will allow us to replenish our shurikens. And then we'll get this, which is the water dash. And let's see what the shopkeeper says about the catacombs. Hey, you made it to the catacombs. Okay, anything I should know? Not really. It's pretty standard stuff. Skeletons and bats. Oh, evil wizards too? You bet. A necromancer even took over. Spooky. Cliched. I suggest you get this area out of the way. There are more original ones lined up. I believe you've reached the necromancer's doorstep. Any advice? Very little's known about this villain. Okay, so no advice. Dodging anything that looks like evil magic would be a good start. Wow, great help. Well, I also recommend looking at my inventory for any useful upgrades. I really appreciate all the support. Look, the necromancer's a newcomer. All we know for now is that he plans on taking over the world with his undead army. All we know? Sorry, I meant I. All I know. I'm totally on my own here. What do you do here? Study magic? Can you teach me? Not really. Why not? Because you're not ready. Ready for what? For magic. Come on, you just asked. No, but I meant... Believe me, learning magic is a lot harder than following a conversation. And now we'll see what it has as a story. He's going to be the best dad. He is going to be an incredible dad. And the sad thing is, like, you know, like, when the girls were born, it wasn't that long after. Like, it was around my oldest daughter's first birthday when COVID hit. And so there was a long period of time where we didn't really get to see him, and they didn't really get to see him, and our youngest daughter didn't get to see him for quite a while, and then we also lived out of town. And so, you know, I haven't really gotten to see him a ton as an uncle yet until very recently, and it's been really exciting to see him be an uncle. And I think he's become an even better uncle since he now knows he's becoming a dad himself. Of course, here's one for you. There once was a poor old lady who had nothing in life, save for a small shack and a pear tree. Her name was Madame Misery. Her whole family ate misery, and sometimes there wasn't even enough misery to go around. One day, she was visited by a starving beggar who asked whether she had any food to spare. She didn't, but her heart was as big as her situation was unfortunate. So, she served the beggar a few clumps out of the tasteless broth she had simmering, then invited him to help himself to a few pears. The beggar removed his cloak, revealing himself as a deity. He was disguised as a beggar to see whether there was any kindness left in the world. Touched by Madame Misery's generosity, he offered her to grant her a wish. Let me guess, she didn't want anything and it's more about living frugally? No, this is good, let me continue. She mentioned a lot of people were stealing her fruit, which jeopardized her chance to eat every day. Her wish was simple, an enchantment on her pear tree so that it would trap anyone who stole from it until she decided to free them. The divine visitor granted her her wish and took his leave. Time went by and she scolded many thieves, but soon realized that most of them were starving children. She decided to take it upon herself to feed and educate them, and soon became the pillar of a thriving new generation. Ever happy and generous, Madame Misery got so old that her face looked like an elephant's knee. Yikes. And then one day, death came for her. Death, following the protocol, inquired about her last request. I would like to eat one last pear from my tree, she said. Would you be kind enough to grab one for me? Death climbed into the tree to grab a pear, getting trapped in the process. The old lady decided to never let Death out of the trap, and since then there has been misery in the world. The end. Right? What's the moral? Being selfless justifies being selfish later? Generosity begets misery? I don't know. It's a fairy tale for kids. I just thought the idea of death trapped in a pear tree was interesting. Here you go. Again, I love his stories. Let's see. You should do a list of your favorite games through the years since you've played on any system. I could definitely do like a top 10 list. Like a top 25 or something. I might do that. Yeah. Have that be something we do at the start or in the middle of the stream. Maybe take a break at some point and go over games. Yeah, that was hard on everyone mentally. Yeah, it was, man. And obviously, in many ways, we're still going through it. But it's been rough. It was really rough when we first had to go back to in-person school. When I was teaching. Alright, here's the second stage boss. And with this army of undead, everyone will soon fear the mighty Ruxtin. Ahem. What now? We have a visitor. I don't have time for visitors. Well, he seems to have time for you. Oh, great. Just when you think you get to play with your evil lab. Do I have to remind you who's in charge here? Now say something threatening and try not to embarrass us like you did last time. Oh, I've been practicing. Watch this. Ahem. Who dares enter my lair? Uh-oh. Is that the messenger? Looks like it. What do we do? Steal the scroll, of course. Good plan. On guard! Face the mighty might of Ruxtin the Great! Alright, here comes stage 2 boss. So again, I'm just gonna watch him for a little bit. I'm gonna try to learn his pattern. So now we're seeing the same pattern again, right? But it's a little bit harder because this platform now moves. A great example of that old school game design of we're going to teach you a mechanic and you're going to keep doing it, but it's just going to get more difficult each time that you do it. Uh-oh, I'm going to get hit. Oh, I didn't. I like how every time you hit him, he says, ow. I don't think we got hit. Let's go. I yield. Wait, I don't. It's over. This evil thing is clearly not working out for us, no matter how many skulls we slap onto ourselves. Any suggestions then? I'm listening. I don't know, just something else. Like what? Introspection would be a good start. What has all this brought us, really? Ridiculous. I'm sticking to evil. Oh, yeah? And how are you going to accomplish anything if I'm not carrying you? Well, I could... that's a good point, actually. It's settled, then. Carry on, messenger. We promise not to cause the world any harm. Juggernaut. Hey, I'm good at games sometimes. I think this song's also really good. The Catacomb song was... yeah, this song's good. Honestly, two of the best songs in the game we're not going to get to tonight, because I don't think I can get there fast enough. But this one's one of my favorites. Here's another example of why this game's good at doing the whole nostalgia thing the right way. Okay? There's a lot of open-endedness to the stages, right? I'm still going left to right. It's still linear. But there's multiple pathways I could take, like, right? I started up above there, and then I came down here, and then I jumped around over here. If I'm playing old school Ninja Gaiden, I might remember it being that way, but for a lot of the levels, it's a straight path. It's like a straight shot all the way through. Oh, that's right. These wheels raise gates. And when we get to a destructible wall again, I'll talk about something else. Something else that's really good. Now, another situation, is that a death pit or not a death pit? I think it's a death pit. Because learning from last time, it's got like that black within like the little dots at the bottom that almost make it look like, yeah, this is the end of the road. This is the end of the level. So we're not going to try that again. When we're running some Fortnite, we can run some Fortnite soon, man. I've been playing a ton of Fortnite even since you and I, you know, there was a night that you and I played like duos or trios. I've been playing a lot of it since then. And, not to toot my own horn, but I've gotten fairly decent at it. Laura and I have been winning quite a few games. We even had one night where we ended up winning 3 in a row. We decided to call it after that because we didn't want to press our luck any further. And I think we've won, since the new season dropped, I think we've won 2. So. Alright. Here's another really cool thing. Great part of this game's design, right? The whole game's built around the cloud step, where I jump, I hit something midair, and then I can jump again, like these lanterns. So this one's like, okay, well, wouldn't it be cool if you hit the lantern and then it went up in the air a bit, and then you could just keep bouncing off of it? So check this out. Right? Now, had the game gave me that right at the beginning in the first stage, it would have been a little much. I'm still getting used to the cloud step. But in stage 3, cloud step's old news, right? It's part of my vocabulary. I just do it. Ooh, this guy seems like he's gonna be kind of rough. Yep. Yep, this is harder than any boss I fought so far. Alright, what's the pattern? What, is he not coming to come back? Came to screw up our day and then leave. Catching crowns, yeah. If you haven't checked out the new battle pass, the new battle pass is decent too. Let's see, let's go left first. And here's the thing too, again, first level, very linear. Second level, still pretty linear. This level actually has quite a few branching paths where it's like, I'm not even sure where I'm supposed to go. Like, I don't know if this isn't the main way or if this is a side way because I'm getting a bunch of the stones here. I think I might be going towards another challenge room. I can't even get in there. Let's see, can we do this? We can. Can't do anything with it though. Right? You would never see this in a like an old school NES Ninja Gaiden type game. This is obviously telling me if you look at the left, I can come into this room from another way. Game levels weren't that complex, and honestly, the reason that complex, yeah, you can. Go ahead and share it on Facebook if you want to. Go ahead. Absolutely, you can share it out. I'd love to see the channel grow. You can share it with whoever you think might be interested in watching it. And if you can encourage them to give me a follow while they're at it, even better. But what I was saying is, like, you know, the big branching levels is cool, but an NES has a lot of trouble handling that. They're working on very limited memory capacity. And so part of it was like, that's not the way games were designed back then, because it wasn't part of the tool set, right? Games were so small that they never planned these big sprawling levels, and people didn't have enough experience making games to make big sprawling levels. But this game has that. Anything we can upgrade? Nope, we can't afford anything yet. Any fun stories from the merchants? Bamboo Creek, that must be a site for sore eyes after the catacombs. Sure is. Do make the best of it. This place is as close to a day off as you'll get on this adventure. I'll try. I just didn't know something so cheerful existed. Heh, I guess that says more about your mindset than the world. About time shards. What are these crystals I'm collecting? Oh, what is the link? The link to get to my Twitch channel is twitch.tv/PROFRODEBLOCK. Right there. But yeah, and especially if we can encourage people to come watch it and maybe donate, that'd be fantastic. So I'll put another link to that here in a second. Like I said, for the next stream, I want to have a counter on screen so we can see our goal. So you're a touch the unidentified magic object first and ask questions later kind of guy. They're time shards. I can use them to augment your abilities. How does it work? Exactly the way we've been doing it so far. You select what you want and give me the required amount of shards so I can do my thing. I meant the spell itself. It's complicated. But I'm curious, and I'm busy. He might have another story, but we'll save it. Alright, let's keep going. This game also has a small but really dedicated speedrunning community. Speedruns of this game are fantastic. All right, let's see. Oh, something I just now thought of too. Okay, so it's trying to pull on nostalgia, right? One of the things that games do, and Shovel Knight did this excellently. If they're doing nostalgia right, they're not trying to mimic or emulate one specific game. Right? So Shovel Knight looks like Mega Man, but it's borrowing elements from Mega Man and from Super Mario Brothers and DuckTales and like a dozen different retro games. The Messenger is doing the same thing. So it looks like a Ninja Gaiden, but these lanterns are actually something we saw in Castlevania. Now they didn't function the same way. I couldn't like cloud step and double jump off the lanterns, but lanterns were a huge part of Castlevania because I could hit them like I do here, and they would give me currency or health or weapon upgrades. And so they've said, hey, that was kind of a cool element, a fun thing I remember from Castlevania. What can we do with those? And so rather than just saying, hey, we're going to be Ninja Gaiden, it's like, well, we're going to be Ninja Gaiden, but what if we took the lanterns from Castlevania? And what if we took this from this game? We're going to keep seeing that. This is really cool. So we have to keep making this elevator go up, but we have to fight enemies while we do it. That's where the shurikens are good. Again, I'm really glad the first ability we got was deflecting enemy projectiles or destroying them. This would be infuriating without it. Which, speaking of that, oh shoot! I have to start over again. One of the things we talked about in one of my other classes this week is how, in addition to things like esports, you see other forms of video game competition with things like speed runs and challenge runs. And so, there are people that play this game with no upgrades, right? So they go through this game with just the basic sword and the cloud step. They do not have the ability to destroy enemy projectiles and use them for additional cloud steps. They don't have shurikens, nothing. No thank you on that. I think we're going the right way. Alright, let's, I'm not sure which way to go. I think we're gonna go this way. If you're just joining, welcome, welcome. We are streaming The Messenger as an example of one of my game studies topics for one of the courses I teach out at the college. So we're talking about how the game The Messenger does a great job of fulfilling the aesthetic of sensation by having incredibly kick-ass music and pulling on the best parts of nostalgic game design, where this game looks and plays like we remember an old game feeling, while actually having some modern design. So I'll give a great example that you guys may not have just noticed a second ago. One of the enemies that hit me, the one over here, he actually knocked me into the pit. But I have an upgrade that allows me to get a recovery jump when I get hit. In an old school game, that would not have been a thing. I would have gotten hit, I would have flashed, fallen into the pit, died instantly. But here the game goes, no, you have a recovery jump. So I got hit by the fireball, it threw me over the pit, I was able to jump back out of the pit. And it happened again right there. Also, this game is a lot more generous with health upgrades or health items than something like an old school Castlevania or a Ninja Gaiden is. The other cool thing too, right, is unless I'm misremembering, all of the all of the hidden walls in this actually are signposted, right? They're cracked. You can see them. In some of the old school games, Zelda, Castlevania, whatever, they weren't, right? I might have to literally attack all the walls or like use bombs on walls that don't look like I can break them just to kind of memorize or learn where are the breakable walls. That's not great game design. I felt great to discover those as a kid, but not good if you're, especially if it's required content. Like Zelda famously had like rock walls that, or walls you had to blow open with your bombs to progress, and a couple of them were invisible, so you didn't know you were supposed to be able to do it. And that was one of those really nasty ways of, hey, we're gonna pad out the length of this game because people are gonna get stuck in this dungeon for an eternity until they randomly bomb the right wall in the right place. These floating, I don't even know, spirit enemies, those are exactly like the old school like Medusas in Castlevania. They do the kind of the wave pattern as they float in. Thanks for posting, man. If some of the people you shared it with come on in, then we'll welcome them in as they come. I think we're up to go to another boss fight here, and I will while we're chilling here, I will post a link to the charity we're raising money for one more time. Because as if playing games and talking about class wasn't enough, we are also raising money during the month of December for Mental Health America. So if you would like to donate to that cause, anything, any little bit helps, right? Seriously, even $1 is incredible. Whoops, I gave you a spam for emotes. I gotta fix that because I have things locked down so bots and things couldn't spam my channel. But here's another thing, right? Great game design. I went to this area and I've been going down, down, down. There's also no music. The music cut out. I'm going to the boss, right? Like it's got to be happening. You're fine, CJ. You didn't. I need to change the settings. It's probably because you use more than 3 emotes in a row, and I think I have it set too restrictive. So I just got to change that. I wrote a note last time and forgot to do it. But yeah, I would almost bet money that when I get to the bottom of this, we're gonna find the next boss, or it's going to take us to another stage. Let's see. Oh, I was wrong. It's not a boss. It's taking us to the next stage. I used like 10. Yeah, that's fine. I need to just turn those settings off. I've only had one bot come into the chat, and it was on my last stream. And I can't even remember what the bot was for. It was something for like some sort of like, hey, you're a streamer, you might like this. Oh, this song is fantastic too. So here's another cool mechanic they're gonna layer in now that we're on stage 4. I can't do anything with this yet, but in just a minute, I will be able to. So let's talk to the shopkeep. I fell in a pit. You did. The gap is way too wide. There's no way I can make the jump. This reminds me of a story. A long time ago, warriors of the Squirrel clan invented a way to soar through the skies. Touching on a freedom humans could seldom dream of, some would mistake them for gods. Incredible. Yeah, whatever. Here's a wingsuit. Press and hold A while airborne to glide. Need anything? Let's ask him about the wingsuit. Thanks for the wingsuit. Yeah, you bet. Don't forget to try it out by pressing and holding A while airborne. Why was it free and not the other upgrades? Because it was mandatory to your progression. You can't save the world if you're stuck in a pit. Will there be more freebies in the future? There's only one way to find out now, isn't there? What do you mean? I mean you should carry on with your quest while letting your heart know for sure that this here cursed world and its inhabitants have a lot of surprises left in store for you. Welcome to the Howling Grotto. Do people live here? Some cave-dwelling creatures used to, a long time ago. They built structures from the streams of emerald running through the rock and believed the wind was the breath of a god. Anything I should know? Not really, other than it's gliding time. Well, that wingsuit I gave you? Yeah? Sorry, I don't even have enough contextual data. I meant to say something that would make sense regardless of whether you had already purchased the wingsuit to ride the tunnels. Now you're being awkward. What's wrong with you? I gave you something that virtually lets you fly and you'd rather stay here and chat? And, we'll leave the story off the table this time. I can upgrade again. Do you want health? Or more shurikens? These shurikens will pierce. Yeah, we're gonna get piercing shurikens. Health-wise, you've been doing alright. Alright, so now, stage 4, they add in the layer of gliding. So now they're gonna start seeing wider jumps where we can glide, and we can use that air vent to go up. Again, also not something like outside of Metroid, right? So here's another great game it's pulling from. This game is pulling from Metroid. In some ways, it's called Metroidvania, meaning that as the game progresses, I'm going to get upgrades that'll allow me to move or progress through the world in different ways, unlocking doors, whatever. And then I am going to be encouraged later to go back to previous areas, use abilities like the wingsuit and other things I'm going to pick up to complete challenge rooms and find hidden stuff. Oops, I missed one. Oh. Alright, and I hear they're giving you a basic tutorial with it. The other cool thing is... Oh, maybe I can't. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do it on the controller, but I can glide, I can hit the lamp, and then I can jump. Alright. Let's grab this lantern. Hello, Mr. Skeleton. Hold on a minute. No. Oh, wait. No, that was not hidden. The boss of this stage is actually really cool, if I remember. He's fun. Oh, see? Okay, so... Oh, hold on. Way too much going on. So I said the game does a really good job of saying, like, hey, you can actually see the hidden walls. You don't have to guess randomly. If you look right below my character, you can see that. But we're going to take out these fireball dudes first. Okay. Oh, okay, so it's another power coin room. So you guys see where this is going. I have to glide through all this stuff and get the coin. Just gonna watch the pattern for a second. Well, those spikes, that's the first time we've hit spikes. Spikes are instant death. I thought they just did damage. Pro tip, avoid the spikes. Thanks, Quarble. Alright, so he's gonna hang around. He's actually, so watch, he's actually gonna take these. Whoops. But again, instead of me having some arbitrary life counter and going, oh, this sucks, I lose just a little bit of progress going back to a checkpoint. The nice thing is I don't even have to restart the whole stage. Just a little bit of progress gone. And I can go try it again. The other cool thing, watch him when he takes my currency. He eats it. I love the animation for him eating it. Alright, let's try it again. Other nice thing is I don't have to break the wall every time. It's permanently broken. We got this. And I think what's going to happen is now the door's going to open and I don't have to trek backwards. So look to the right. See? Another great piece of design. Hey, you did the challenge. Now just loop back around. Enjoy. And here's some free money. And some health. Love it. Oh, they did hit him. Oop. Oop. That spike didn't kill me instantly. Maybe my health was... Oh, you know why? Spikes aren't instant death, but they do more than 1 point of damage. They do like 3 points of damage when you hit them. And my health was low enough that it killed me. That's what the deal is. I was like, I don't think this game has instant death spikes. Here's a new enemy type. And a checkpoint. Checkpoints don't restore all your HP, but they do give you 1 HP back. Can't go that way. And let's get that health. Yes. I don't think that's a full health, but it does give... Right now, it's pretty much a full health for us. Let's see. Oh, I could have done it. That's fine. We are going to just do this. And again, another great use of the wingsuit. We're going to make this X pattern. So we go through, and we go up, and we go down. They're telegraphing where I'm supposed to go with the time stones, the time shards. That's good. And what I love about this game too, and Shovel Knight is the same thing, is again, it's pulling on the old school games in their look and their gameplay. They're modernizing pretty much everything in ways that make sense. They're saying what didn't work about this beloved classic. Let's fix it. Ooh, I got stuck down there. That wasn't good. The boss fights are the same way. They still feel challenging, and some of them are really difficult. But they feel a lot more fair and forgiving than a lot of those old school games tend to feel. Here we go, got a little bit of health back. I just don't think we can afford anything, but we'll check. Whoops. Oh, I can. Wingsuit attack. Press X while gliding with a wingsuit to attack downward. Yep, we will definitely buy that. Yep, that's okay. That's why trying to bounce off the lanterns felt so awkward. Because I had to stop gliding to do it, but now I don't have to stop gliding. I can just bounce like this, which is awesome. That hurt. Oh, that hurt too. That hurt really bad. I should have committed. I waffled at the last second and couldn't decide if I wanted to go left or right. The other thing too, right? Ninja Gaiden had items like shurikens like this one. They actually had some really cool items, but they were dependent on breaking like lanterns or objects or things in the world, and I don't think they were always random. I think sometimes they were set what you would get. Um, but you could easily lose one of those power ups when you died, or you could accidentally pick up a new one and replace one that you really liked. And so, this game has the shurikens, but I always have them. I don't have to pick them up from enemy drops, and I don't have to risk accidentally replacing my shurikens with a crappy ability I didn't want. Both Ninja Gaiden and Castlevania had that problem. So instead of being like, hey, it's kind of your preference for which ability you have, but you can only ever have one, or hey, you better hope you get the one you want. It's like, no, if we want you to have a tool in your tool set, we're going to give it to you all the time, and then you choose when and how you use it, right? Because I don't have to use the shurikens ever, but I really like using them to hit some of those enemies at range. And I don't have to worry about like, oh, well, I hope the shurikens drop from this lantern. Oh, I always have them. I just have a limited number of them. Oop. Getting the giant chunks of time stones there feels good. See how far we can get this bat to chase us. Will it chase us to the next screen? I don't think so. Ooh. So I would have to venture a guess, and I don't remember exactly, but one, I think we're right before the next boss, and what I was going to say is, I bet, I bet that the boss is going to use this wingsuit mechanic now. That's a fresh cut if I've ever, dude, I needed a haircut so bad. I used to get my haircut every 4 weeks, and then, oh shoot. And then when COVID hit, when things shut down, Laura started cutting my hair, and I've just had her do it ever since. And she does a great job when she does it. But I usually get, again, every 4 weeks, maybe 5 if I'm pushing it. And I think I was like 7 or 8 weeks without a haircut this time. And it was just things were so damn busy that we never found time to do it. So we usually do it in the evening when the kids are asleep. But I was going to do it on Black Friday. But then I had some friends that came in from out of state that were like, hey, you guys want to hang out and play some video games? And so we went out to eat dinner and played like Smash Brothers and stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, of course I want to do that. So then that meant I sacrificed my haircut to go do that. And so my mom was over here yesterday, and finally, while my mom was hanging out with the girls, Laura cut my hair. Yeah, she did do a good job. She always says she doesn't, but I was really pleased with the way that she did it, and I needed it badly. I also trimmed my beard down too, so I guess I unintentionally participated in No Shave November this month. I've done it intentionally at the high school I used to work at and some other times and in college, but I did not mean to do that. Oh, so when I started playing this game, honestly, Dan, you were the first person I thought of, because this seems like it'd be a game that's right up your alley. If you have never played this game, it's called The Messenger. It is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that soundtrack alone just, oh, it's so good. So good. There's a lot of songs from this playlist that are just in my normal work rotation. So if I'm working on stuff and listening to music, this game has a lot of them. And then, when I was working out, which I haven't done in a long time, I had a running playlist because I used to run a lot. And there's a couple of really high tempo, high energy songs on this playlist that I absolutely loved listening to when I was running around or on the treadmill. So again, this game's called The Messenger, Dan. It's awesome. And I see we're up a couple more viewers here and new people have entered. So one more time, I'm going to say it, and I'll say it throughout the month as well here. Throughout the entire month of December, and I'm hoping to have a graphic on this stream next time, is that I I am raising money for charity this month, and so I am raising money for Mental Health America during this month of December. Holidays are a rough time for a lot of people, and so if you want to check out why I've chosen Mental Health America and donate possibly to that fundraiser, then please follow the link in the description and take a look. We'll keep plugging that as we go through the month. My initial goal is to see if we can raise $100 for this charity. So that would be fantastic. And no, I don't expect broke college kids to necessarily go donate, but literally anything helps, a dollar, whatever. So let's see. Oh man, I'll look into it. I fell in love with a Dark Souls-like Metroidvania game called Blasphemous. Yep, I've heard of Blasphemous. The graphical style of Blasphemous is really intense, like that gothic, almost body horror type look to it. It's Blasphemous seems like it would be up my alley. I haven't actually played any 2D Dark Souls clones yet, and I know there's quite a few of them now. Yeah, here's the boss. I also have a cat trying to get pets right now. This will go well. We haven't died to a boss yet. Will this be the first one? All right, let's just learn the pattern, right? So I think I have to get to the middle. Yep, I do. Oh boy. Okay, they give you plenty of time to dodge that one. Okay, I'm not. Can I hit it with shuriken? Oh, I can. And it seems like, okay, there we go. And now we use the wingsuit. And then we wail on him. Oh, and then we get hit. I jumped. I didn't. Oh, that's going to suck. I got greedy. I should have left earlier. Oh, faked me out. Uh-oh. Okay, all right. Right, we're doing okay. We just got to get out of here earlier this time. Oh, you can see the jewels coming up, and I didn't notice it. They're going to fake me out again? There we go. So I'm a little gun shy. Okay, all right. All right. Yeah, he's going a little bit faster. One more hit and I'm toast. That's it. That's it for us. Rip. Okay, we died on our first boss. Heavily inspired by Catholicism. It's pretty interesting. The story's intriguing. Play it in Spanish audio for that authentic feel. Yeah, that's one of the things I was talking about, Dan. The reason that I chose this game to stream tonight was because we're talking about games as sensation and game studies right now. And one of the ways we talk about that is games that play into that sense of nostalgia or retro. But when you actually dig under the hood, they are a very modern game. So this game looks like an old school 8-bit game, but it's running far more than 8 colors. And the animations are much higher frames. And I think this game is running at a steady 60 frames per second, too. There we go. That's what I was hoping for. All right. Let's see if we can do this without getting hit this time. We know what the patterns are. All right, no more pressure. We got hit. We got hit again. We get him? We got him. Oh, wait, maybe we didn't get him. We didn't get him. Oh, that's shurikens. Nice. We're gonna pogo stick him. Ready? There we go. I don't know if I can actually like fall and die if I don't fly. He's not like super hard to dodge right now, but he's a pain in the ass to hit. There we go. I was thinking about taking your game design class for my last semester. Yeah, I teach it at 1 o'clock next semester, so if you're open, definitely take it as an elective if you have room for it. It's a lot of front loading where I do lecture on some of the basics, and then we use this old um, design framework and we study themes. So you can almost think of it in literature class how you might study a theme and then go look at examples of that theme in action. We do that with games. And so then when we get into themes, we do it on a 2-week cycle where like I introduced the theme of sensation, and then now I've taught about examples of it and what it looks like. And now students are going out and playing their own games for that theme, and they're going to report back how successfully or unsuccessfully the game fits that specific theme. I think I'm going to refine it for the next time I teach it, I'm going to get better at it each time. This one, there's some things that I really enjoyed, but there's some things I've already identified that I'm going to change for next semester that I think will help some of it stick with students more than it has, but I love it. Like, thanks for destroying my golem? Well, you attacked first. What are you talking about? I've been digging through these caverns for centuries and you just randomly engaged. No way. No way. You know what? Fair enough. I see how you could have thought I was a threat. I guess my survival instincts kicked in a little too fast. I understand. It's all good. Look, I'm sorry I destroyed your golem, okay? Don't worry about it. I mean it, I'm sorry. It's alright, honest mistake. So, how do I get out of here? Oh, I'll adjust the wind for you. Good luck on your quest. I can talk to him again. The writing in this game is also fantastic, if you guys haven't picked up on that yet. Very self-aware. Some people don't like the fourth wall breaking type stuff, but I really like it. Yeah, like, it's fine, and now he's crying because his golem got destroyed, and we're the bad guy. Because if you actually go back, like, he says, I didn't attack you, you attacked me. And if you look into that, and I think the way it works at the beginning of the fight, is that golem is, like, going back and forth, banging on the floor, but he doesn't actually fire anything at you or attack you, he's just banging on the floor. And he doesn't start actually firing bolts at you until you go attack his gem in the middle. So even though the game sets it up as a boss fight, you actually are the one that instigates the fight. Now, I don't think you can stand there and progress without fighting him. You have to do it. But it's like, yeah, maybe we are the bad guys. Sometimes. Let's see. We're getting close, but I also started to stream late, so we'll go for another 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll either beat this level or find a good stopping point. Is this gonna hurt? Nope. This does, if anybody ever played Super Mario Brothers 2, here's your Super Mario Brothers 2 reference. Standing in the sand makes you, or maybe it's Super Mario Brothers 3. I think maybe it was both. The sand will pull you down, but then if I mash the jump button, I can get out of it. Hey everybody, welcome. If you are new, things are winding down, but we'll be playing for about another 15-20 minutes. How are we doing tonight? Playing a little Messenger, which is a fantastic game, as an example of some of the things I've been teaching in game studies right now. Also raising money for a good cause here, so if you want to know more about that, let me know. Again, I'll try to have the tracker up for next Wednesday's stream. But I wanted to get something quickly thrown together, so if people wanted to, they could start donating money. The way that this game teaches you and then layers its mechanics is also awesome, right? Because if you look at that, that combines the cloud step, it combines the wingsuit, and it combines the wingsuit attack all in at the same time. Something that would have felt, again, really overwhelming on stage 1. But in stage, 4 now? Feels great. Whoops. I forgot we can't attack down unless we're gliding. I don't like this song as much as some of the others, but it's still a fantastic track. If you guys want to listen to any of this music on your own, if you go to Spotify, the whole soundtrack's on there. I think the artist is called Rainbow Dragon Eyes. Their username. They're fantastic. And there's actually alternate versions of each song on the soundtrack. And some of them sound really, really cool. Whoop. Dude, so the reason I'm not playing Shovel Knight is that's one of them that I assigned for class. Oh, shoot. Is that's one of the ones that I assigned for class, but this takes a lot of things from Shovel Knight even. Because yeah, I mean, in fact, next semester for this class, I might actually recommend the Messenger over Shovel Knight. Not to say that Shovel Knight's a better game, or Messenger's a better game. Because honestly, I think I like Shovel Knight a little bit more, and Yacht Club is just a fantastic developer. But I feel like the Messenger is... Oh my god, I died again. I feel like the Messenger is slightly more obscure. Oh my goodness. Alright, pull it together. Just like Dark Souls, if you aren't playing intelligently, and you're just trying to rush through, you're just gonna die over and over. Game is absolutely fair, but if you're being lazy, it's gonna punish you. You see that sick double shuriken kill there? Got a pro gamer in the house. Alright, here we go. And Shovel Knight has been updated multiple times with giant, significant free DLCs. Shovel Knight's worth checking out. And Shovel Knight has a ton of content. I 100%ed this game with about, I think the clock said 12 or 13 hours, but I don't think that includes like being paused in menus while I was like looking up a couple things or whatever. I tried to do most of this game 100% without looking anything up, but there's a couple challenge coins that I just could not find, and so I used a guide, I think, to find some of those. Still had to do them on my own, but yeah, I think it took me about a dozen hours to 100% this game. Shovel Knight is going to take you longer than that if you do everything. And there's actually, I think there's 3 campaigns in Shovel Knight now. When I played it, it just had Shovel Knight's campaign. There's a campaign for Plague Knight, or Spectre Knight? Spectre Knight. Plague Knight? I can't remember. And then I think they added a third one with King Knight or something. I don't remember. I think there's... Oh my gosh. I think there's 3 campaigns, though. We were doing fine, and now we're getting wrecked. I was even... You know, I haven't even said the thing I always say, if I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, which means I can't talk and play video games. We were doing fine, and now that Dan showed up, we're losing. Just kidding. The game is getting a little bit more challenging, and I'm not paying as much attention as I used to. Oh, yikes. I'm going to die again. Yep. Is this a linear path game? It is mostly linear. 7 deaths. Thanks, Corbel. It is mostly linear. Given that every level has a set start and end point. That being said, there is some flexibility, especially as the game progresses, for how you can move through certain rooms. There are side rooms that have challenge coins and other secrets that you don't have to do. And you can go to previous areas. I can't yet, but in the shopkeeper's shop, you eventually get the ability to basically fast travel between gates. And so I can go to any other level that I want to. And you will use that a lot later. All right. While I don't like the music in this stage quite as much, I do really appreciate the visuals of this one. Like the haunted swamp with the mushrooms is cool. Whoop. You know, and I think I made a decision right now. I was trying to figure out if this is going to be a one-off or if we're going to finish it. But I think given that it's only, and I'm not going to 100% it on stream, but given that it's a fairly short game, I might just finish the whole thing out on stream over the next couple of weeks. Those will restore 5 points in all key charges. More health, defense up. The defense up one's really good. What's this one? Oh, reduce Corbel's state. Okay. It's all good, CJ. Again, some of the stories the shopkeeper tells are fantastic. I'm not going to listen to it right now since I want to keep playing before we get done here. And I also don't want to spoil too much of it. Like, if you watch me play this, you're going to get a lot of things spoiled for you, but some of the shopkeeper stories are fantastic. Oh my goodness. Playing sloppy. If I was ever going to get into speedrunning, this game would be way up on the list of something I would consider doing. Just, the mechanics feel so good, and the music is awesome, so it's the type of thing that's like, oh shoot, if I had to live in this world for a bunch of hours to get decent at speedrunning it, I would do it. This is going to be rough. There we go. Oh! There we go, we're good now. Like TMNT Super Nintendo Brutal. Yeah, so this game, again, there's parts of it that are brutal, especially some of the challenge rooms. I feel like this game's a lot more fair than some of its other counterparts. But again, it's like the Dark Souls style. If you guys have if you've played Dark Souls, you know, like the whole, oh, I want to go beat this boss, make the run back to the boss, and so rather than playing smart and patiently like I did the first time, I'm rushing to try to get back to the boss. And then now I'm not even making it to the boss because I'm dying to the enemies on the way to the boss because I'm playing impatiently. This game does the same thing. Like, if you aren't actively paying attention to it at all times, then you are definitely going to die because you're playing sloppy. If you're paying attention and acting deliberately, it's really pretty fair. And TMNT was brutal, but I'd argue the old school NES ones, those ones are the real tough ones. The SNES game I absolutely love. I can actually get through the Turtles in Time game without getting a game over. I die once or twice, but that's just because that's one of my all-time favorite games, Turtles in Time. And again, that one's just your standard beat 'em up. That one's not impressive to beat without dying like old school TMNT. That game is a nightmare. Never got a chance to try out the NES. I had an experience with the Super Nintendo. If you want to talk about Nightmare Goblin, yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. Ghosts and Goblins. That's the game you're thinking of. Ghosts and Goblins is nuts. Ghosts and Goblins is notorious for its difficulty. I saw a challenge run of somebody completing all of Ghosts and Goblins both runs without getting hit once. Absolute mad lad. All right. I think the boss is coming up, so we will go ahead and do this boss on stream, and then we'll probably call it a night there. Sure, we'll get the health upgrade. Let's ask him about the level boss and the golem. Be careful, I sense a fallen up ahead. Fallen? It's how we call messengers whose quest came to a tragic end, their power corrupted by demon magic. Why are you so serious all of a sudden? Because it doesn't get more serious than a rogue messenger about to unleash on you. And with these stories about a monk, it really is that one monk. What are you talking about? About you meeting your match. Good luck. I still can't believe you defeated the golem. Did you get a chance to understand its motive? thing wasn't evil, it was just digging away. What, you mean all these messengers that were killed? All a misunderstanding. Wow. Oh, no worries, Dan. Your grammar is far better than most people on the internet. Well, 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 it seems we have an intruder. If I remember right, this boss is actually pretty rough, but we will, beat this boss and then call it a night. You need to get out of here. This place is filled with monsters. Oh, did my quill shrooms scare you? So it's true. Ha ha ha, don't like my army? It's a shame, really, since you're about to join it. Scroll. It couldn't be. No, impossible. Kneel before your queen and receive the curse of quills. Alright, so she's gonna hang from those things. We can't. I can't attack those. Oh, shoot. Got turned into a shroom. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I should have jumped. I was backing up so I could see what she was gonna do. I did hit her. Nice. Ooh. Oh, and we were able to hit her again. Nice. Does the great old school boss battle thing of having the enemies flash as their health gets lower. TMNT definitely did that. She hasn't been too bad so far. Where's the next thing she's gonna do that's really gonna mess me up? I like that they're making me use the cloud step mechanic as a way to get access to the boss. She's gonna do it again here in just a second. How are we doing on health? We're doing okay. She's getting real low. Ooh, but now we're one hit away. Oh, I got impatient again. It's happening again. Ooh. Oh, we got her. And look, she has her own demon that, Wait a second. Who do you think you are? I'm Quilble. Quilble? This name makes no sense. Why have I never seen you before? I was exiled a long time ago when I got cursed along with my messenger. That voice, are you? Out of here, you bet. See ya, sucker. So we will get to the start of the next stage. Yeah, oh, this one has good music too. I just said it saved, but we'll get to the next actual legit checkpoint and then we'll stop there. Also, we're cruising through this game faster than I thought we would because I think it goes Searing Crags and then Glacial Peak. And then Glacial Peak has some big story stuff, and it's, I think, considered the halfway point of the game, although it's really more like the third point of the game. It's like the end of the first act. Congratulations, you made it to the base of the mountain. Almost there. You know what this means? I don't know. Does it mean you have another dialogue trap for me? What? Oh, so you're just gonna try and steal my character like that? I guess you think you deserve a prize. No. Well, you do. Plus, you'll never be able to make the climb without the rope dart. Rope dart? Don't overthink it. Everyone will probably end up calling it the grappling hook anyway. Here. Press B to throw. Try it on rings, lanterns, walls, and enemies. Honestly, completely forgot about the rope dart. So, thanks for the rope dart? Oh, did you think that was an awkward interaction? Yeah, you could say that. Clearly, you never had to tell your boss that your little experiment went wrong, permanently impacting one of your colleagues. Hey, I heard that. Anyways, you can use it on rings, lanterns, walls, and enemies. Go nuts. About that monk. It is as I feared. Our most promising messenger didn't die, but was instead cursed forever. She became the queen of quills. How did that happen? This is a tale for another time. We'll end with the messenger, or with a shopkeeper story. Do you have any stories to share? Of course, here's one for you. It's a story I once told the guy who hooked me up with music for my shop. There once was a village struggling to figure out who the werewolf was. People kept dying every full moon, and very gorily at that. One day, a brave young couple decided to venture into the woods. He would be the hunter, and she the bait. As one would expect from such a cliched setting, they got separated, and our hunter faced off alone against the beast near a cliff. After 15 minutes of a literal uphill battle, the hunter managed to chop off the werewolf's paw with his axe, just as it was attempting to choke him. The hunter then ran for his life, severed paw still clutched to his throat. By the time he got home, the sun was up and he found his fiancée bleeding, also badly wounded. The paw on his throat had reverted to its human form, and that moment he noticed it was wearing a ring he had purchased a few days ago. The end. Whoa, that was spooky. I'm still looking for a title. Any suggestions? What about The Werewolf Bride? Wow, great idea. Really? No, not really. You put the reveal in the title. Alright. Merchant's Room design is very aesthetic. It is. And there's a reason why the Merchant's Room is set up the way that it is. He talks about it when you first enter, about how this, like, these portals are actually outside of regular time and space. And so it's got that very, like, spacey, ethereal sort of look to it. And then you do learn more about the merchant, or the shop, and this whole place a little bit later in the game. So there are some mysteries they leave unsettled, which is kind of cool, actually. But they do actually explain more about him and what's going on here, so that's really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it in the merchant room here as we go ahead and wind things down. So we will be back on Wednesday. I think we're just going to keep playing through the messenger. I at least want us to get to the big moment that I referenced earlier, because I want you guys to see it on stream. It's a really good example, one of the best examples I can actually think of games as sensation, because it, again, one of the key things about games as sensation is it's doing something intentional with the visuals or the graphics, and this game does something really flippin' cool once we get there. So we're a couple hours away from that, but not too far off, actually. So as we wind things down, just want to remind people, again, the entire month of December, we are donating to Mental Health America through Tiltify here. And so if you would like to donate to that wonderful cause, you can check out the link here in the Twitch chat, and you can see why I've chosen that charity and get more information about them to decide if they're a charity that you would like to support. We will continue that throughout the entire month of December. Again, my goal is $100, which I think would be absolutely phenomenal for the small size of my channel. And then we will be, we will be back on Wednesday for more games. And we'll just keep continuing through the messenger here. Now, before I kick you guys out, I'm going to go to my Twitch dashboard, and I'm going to see if there's anybody that we can raid. I figured out how to do that fairly successfully. Yeah, so, if you guys want intense story-based games, friend of the channel and fellow streamer Aggie Thunderpaw has been streaming The Walking Dead by Telltale. He's been streaming Season 1. He's never played it before. When I left him last time, he was on Episode 4. He might be on Episode 4, or even in the finale episode. So, I will caution you that if you've never played Telltale's The Walking Dead, hopping in right now is probably going to give you some big old spoilers. But if you have seen it and want to see somebody else go through that end part of it, you definitely don't want to miss this stream. So I'm going to send you guys over to Aggie again. And thank you guys so much for joining me tonight.